Hello and welcome to the Great British Timeline. This YouTube series will focus on the history of Great Britain from 1066 all the way up to the present day, and will hopefully demonstrate to you just how rich the tapestry is of this nation's history. It will take you on a journey from England being conquered by a Norman duke through the many dynasties of a monarchy to the creation of the greatest empire the world has ever seen. Hopefully you will find it interesting, so let's begin. So, the year is 1066, which is an important year for two reasons. Firstly, it is 900 years before England wins for the first and only time the Football World Cup. And secondly, and probably more importantly, it is when the Norman invasion of Britain occurred. This is why 1066 is one of the few dates most people in Britain can actually remember, so it clearly has quite a lot of importance. So, the month is January, and the king is Edward the Confessor. He's a very pious man who even rebuilt Westminster Abbey, but he wasn't very good at creating a stable succession. He died with no heirs, and had apparently told multiple people that they would become the next king. So you can see that this is going to be quite a big problem. There were three main people who would fight it out to become king. In the Viking corner was Harald Hardrada, who was the last great Viking king, and claimed descent from successful English king Canute. Hardrada wanted more power and better land, as Norway was a very rainy and very miserable place to live, whereas England is only a fairly rainy and fairly miserable place to live. The second person to claim the throne was Harold Godwinson, who was a Saxon noble, and whose father, Earl Godwin, had essentially been the most powerful man in England. Harold Godwinson was also the brother-in-law of Edward the Confessor, and had apparently been told by Edward on his deathbed that he would become the next king. The third and final candidate was William of Normandy. He claimed the throne, as he did have some distant relation to Edward, but more importantly, had supposedly been told by Edward that he would be the next king after William had protected him during Edward's time in exile away from England. Equally as important was his claim that Harold Godwinson had also agreed that William would be the next king, but this was only after Harold had been shipwrecked in Normandy, and thereby under William's control. William also had the support of the Pope, which was very important at the time, as it meant God was essentially on his side. So, the Witan, who is a council of people who chooses the next ruler, decides to make Harold Godwinson king, mainly because he is, like them, a Saxon. Displeased by this, both Harold Hardrada and William of Normandy assemble their armies to invade England. Harold Godwinson has most of his army in the south of England, expecting an invasion from Normandy, but instead a Viking force of 200 warships under Harold Hardrada lands in the north of England, and quickly defeats a Saxon army at the Battle of Stamford. Meanwhile, Harold Godwinson rushes his army 210 miles north in only 5 days to defeat the invader, which he did at the Battle of Stamford Bridge on the 25th of September. No, not that Stamford Bridge, the other Stamford Bridge. Better. I would very like to see John Terry wielding a battle axe. Anyway, at the battle, both Harold Hardrada and Harold Godwinson's exiled brother Tostig, who supported Hardrada, are killed, and the Viking forces flee back to Scandinavia. Oh, it's time for the open letter. An open letter to Harold Hardrada. Hi there, Harold. Look, you may have gotten a lot of bad press for being a bit of a vicious king, which is not surprising, as your nickname was Hard Ruler. And seeing as you fought and killed for the Kievan Rus and the Byzantines, and you invaded both Norway, Denmark and England in your attempts to recreate Canute's North Sea Empire. But actually, Harold, you were a fairly good king, who ruled for 20 years, allowing the Vikings to have a long time of peace, instigated trade with the Byzantines and the Kievan Rus, created your own currency, and even essentially founded the city of Oslo, which is today the capital of Norway. So maybe history would have treated you as a better ruler if you just hadn't gone around attacking so many people. Best wishes, James Inchbald.
Next time we will conclude 1066 and finish the Battle of Hastings. Make sure that if you enjoyed this video, go and check out Crash Course World History, because it truly has some amazing videos. See you next time, and thank you for watching the Great British Timeline.